We have come to a place that is for the most part completely hidden from the rest of the world, only accessible through special browsers with many sites encrypted behind layers of protection and requiring you to authenticate as a real user before being allowed to see what lies beyond the login screen. Suspicious and incriminating activities taking shape in the form of almost every action imaginable. All it takes is the creation of a fake identity to protect your true self and a password that hasn't already been exploited. We are getting closer and closer to actually touching the dark web. Can you feel it? Are you ready to explore? Illegal drugs and handguns shipped right to your doorstep. Homemade bomb recipes, consumer data leaks, private chat rooms and forums filled with the most cunning cybercriminals, and unmentioned degenerates engaging in nefarious activities. Some looking to make a quick buck, and others looking to make a substantial, life-changing income. Before we dig any deeper, you may be thinking, how can such a place be hidden from the rest of the world and yet exist in relatively plain sight? Not to mention the idea that when we have access to such a seemingly endless World Wide Web, that it is wholeheartedly monitored by the government. Well, let's start here. If you are browsing the surface web, and especially if you are browsing the surface web via Google, everyone's favorite search engine, everything you do can and will be tracked and possibly used against you if you are looking to do activities considered to be illegal by the government. Yup, every time you type something into that little search bar, they're watching you. You may think you have no impact on this thing we call the internet, but you have to remember that the internet is just a reflection of who we are. So little by little and day by day, we put more and more of our true nature by the things we search, the things we watch, and more or less the types of media we consume that will in turn influence our thoughts, which will influence our actions, which will influence the world as a whole. In a nutshell, these huge companies are tracking your data, and they will turn around and advertise products to you that fit your profile. Don't be surprised after searching for or talking about the latest Apple products that you find advertisements for the latest Apple products popping up all around you. Not only this, but some companies will go as far as selling your contact information to third-party advertising agencies so they can sell you more stuff you don't need to impress people you don't like, keeping you stuck in the loop. And you agreed to giving them all this information. Yeah, you did. Hard to believe, isn't it? In those terms and conditions that you didn't read when you opened Chrome for the first time, you explicitly gave away your rights without even reading the fine lines, and they knew you would. Yes, you are pretty much being monitored all the time. You have to remember that the internet was not created for privacy, but so that we could connect openly with one another across the world in a matter of seconds. The internet was not made to be anonymous. Some see this as an invasion of privacy, but how far can an idea like the internet go before it inevitably turned bad? To understand that, we must go back in time and look at one of the most fundamental parts about the dark web: staying anonymous. Thankfully for us, the United States government has already laid out the blueprint for us to understand how, and for the most part, why the dark web can and will continue to exist. Next stop, the Onion Network.